Welcome to the New School of Marketing podcast, the place for smart, simple strategies that will amplify your business results. Sharing practical tips, insider knowledge, and actionable advice because marketing is something that every business owner can do. Now, let's get started. Introducing your host, Bianca McKenzie, mum, lover of snow sports, camping, horse riding, and in-demand launch strategist and Facebook advertising knowledge bank.
Welcome to the New School of Marketing podcast. I'm Bianca McKenzie, and today I'm talking about marketing your business without social media and all things in between with Leonie Dawson. Leonie Dawson is an internationally best-selling author of the 2023 My Brilliant Year workbooks, formerly known as the Goal Getter workbooks. I've got a few on my shelf, which have been used by over 500,000 people worldwide. A multi-passionate entrepreneur, Leonie has generated over $13 million in revenue while only working 10 hours a week. Leonie has been recognized for her business acumen by winning Osmum Entrepreneurs People's Choice Business Coach. Wow, it's a handful, a mouthful. Global Brand and Businesses Making a Difference Award. Oh my God, that's even longer. Leonie has spent the last 10 years living in some of the most beautiful places around Australia, which we were just talking about. And she currently lives with her two daughters and husband on the Sunshine Coast. Welcome to the show.
Oh, babes, thanks for having me here. What a joy.
Super exciting. Well, you know what? Let's just dive right in because, we did talk a little bit about, the beautiful places that we lived in. But I kind of want to talk about you and your journey and, all things Leonie. So who is Leonie Dawson? Tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey.
Oh, sure. I am that creative, weird, geeky kid that grew up on a cattle property in regional Queensland, in North Queensland. And I knew I was destined for something big and great and creative and glorious. But I also just did not fit in whatsoever. I don't think I made friends until I was like 11. I don't know what the fuck I was doing at school, but talking to people was not one of them. And so it came as no surprise to me when I was diagnosed with autism at the ripe old age of like 38, I think.
Oh, wow.
I got diagnosed with autism. And I also have also been diagnosed with ADHD as well. So I just kind of went through life going, why am I so weird compared to everyone else around me? Oh, well, I'll just have fun anyway. And so I've had a fucking glorious amount of fun. I'm very grateful to be who I am and to be neurodivergent. I've had a tip-tops adventure, really. I met my husband at a really young age. I was 18 when I met him. It was love at first sight. We've moved in together straight away, and we've just been on some bloody glorious adventures, discovering what we wanted to do in the world. We moved to Canberra. I thought I wanted to become Prime Minister of Australia, but that's just because my parents told me I wasn't allowed to have a creative career. So I thought, second best. I'll go be Prime Minister of Australia, right? But then I worked in Parliament House and discovered it's a lot of hard work. I worked for ministers in ministers' offices, and I was like, holy shit, these people work so hard, such long hours. As much as I don't agree with a lot of their politics and stuff like that, I completely honor and respect the fact that these people work like motherfuckers, 6 a.m. to midnight, especially during sitting weeks, And in order to do that, you have to have super thick skin. You were going to be attacked, you're going to be violated, and I don't have thick skin. I have paper thin skin. My nerve endings emerge outside of my skin, and just a raw, exposed to the world. And I think that's one of the best bits of me. The sensitivity is what makes me a great artist and a writer, and a thoughtful person. But it's not going to make me a good politician. So I remember going back home to my farmer dad and saying to him, well,
it's not going to be it.
It's not going to be it. Hey, I need to come out to you about this. I need to let you know I'm actually going to be an artist. And he said, you're never going to make money that way. And I said, well, you're a farmer and your father is a farmer and your father's father was a farmer, and there's no money in farming either. So I guess I just come from a long line of dreamers. And He said, "You think you're funny, don't you?" And I said, "Yeah, it's fucking gold, mate. It's fucking gold." So from that point, I was pretty young by the time I'd made that decision. I was maybe 22, 23. I was like, right, let's work out how to make a fucking creative business. And I had no intentions of making big money because I didn't think that was possible at all. And it wasn't something that really interested me. But as I started learning about business and marketing and sharing my work with the world, it just kind of snowballed and got really big. And I'm very, very grateful.
That's so awesome. I love it. It's like when you said you have to have thick skin, I'm like, it's kind of like business though. Like the amount of trolls around. I was like, what?
Wow, that's true. Well, I sort of like have to protect myself in those situations. So I went off social media for 2 years. And now I'm kind of back on again, but it's got to be with really big boundaries in place, so that I don't get affected by stupid shit. Because I've been called all kinds of things on the internet, and it's not normal. Like what I was amazed by, like, I had 2 years off and it felt fucking glorious. And then, the first week I was back, I just got called names again for something, just for something that people had misunderstood or didn't appreciate. And I was like, oh, this is actually a very unique situation because in 2 years I have not actually been abused verbally.
No, anyway, it's a bit crazy. I think you need to either have thick skin or put your boundaries in place and so that you don't get affected. So like I do want to talk to you about those 2 years off, but I also want to talk to you about what kind of marketing did you do when you first started your business? Because like, I don't know, a lot of people kind of go marketing, skin crawl, but everyone needs to do it.
Yeah, really. So I started my business before social media was invented. I started my business just as kind of blogs were being invented.
Yeah.
And so I really started off with blogging. That was kind of the centerpin of my business. And in a lot of ways it still is. So I really like creating and I really like sharing. And so when I discovered you could blog, I was like, oh my God, this is fun. And I remember like when I was a teenager, I sent myself to boarding school because I didn't want to live in a small rural town anymore. So I told my parents, I'm going to boarding school. And they were like, okay.
I love it.
Bless them. Like, bless them having a daughter like me. Anyway, I went to boarding school and I lived in a dorm with 20 other girls. And I had a fantastic art teacher and he'd give us these journals. And actually, I still use the same journals today. I could show you a copy. Anyway, it's somewhere. But he was just like, just make art in them, make it your own space. And I really embraced it and did it. And then I would send my journal around the dormitory for everyone else to read because then they'd get really excited and create their own journals. And then I'd get to read them. And it was just like this beautiful kind of creative process and collaboration. And so I didn't really have any kind of, I didn't write like my deepest, innermost secrets in there. That was for another little journal. But it was very vulnerable and very open about all of the things I was experiencing in life. And I loved it. I love that, like, for me, the compulsion is always like, yes, create, but also share, like send it along. And so being able to blog was like, oh, this is so fucking cool. It's like sending my art journal out into the world again for other people to find and get inspired and start their own journals.
That is awesome. And they're probably still around because, like if you still have them up, I'm pretty sure I still have blogs around from 2005 or so.
Yeah. My blogs, like I've kept on syncing my blog to the next one. So it's like 2004 I started blogging and it's like I still have all my archives on my website.
Pretty amazing. Pretty cool, hey? Yeah.
So
it's
not
also
like my
kind
whole...
of scary.
Well, yes, I did discover this.
You die?
And also what happens when your children grow up, because my 13-year-old just did a cybersecurity course at her school, and they had to Google their own names. And she found the part where I was a bit like a mummy blogger, and I detailed in excruciating detail my birth with her and all kinds of things. And she was like,
I
Mom,
remember that blog post.
right? It was a fucking great blog post, but she
Yep.
found it in class and she was like, Mom. And she said nobody else had anything on their names, you know? And then it was just pages and pages. And I stopped talking about my kids on the internet like a decade ago.
Yeah.
But it's all still archived. And bless her, she was like, Mom, the teacher asked me if I was an influencer. And
No, but mummies.
yeah, that's right. That's right. She kind of explained. Bless her. She was very forgiving about it. And I said, we can go through all of them. And if there's anything that you're uncomfortable with, I will absolutely take them down. But yeah, it's a fascinating process.
Oh, okay. I'm going to have to go through my stuff a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. My
Right.
kid's only
Just so
4.
you know,
Yes.
what's happening is when they get to high school, they Google their own names for class and everyone finds out.
Interesting. I think I shared my birth story on my Facebook profile, but not publicly.
Yeah.
Hey, there was not much to
still
say
be-
anyway. It was super quick.
You're right. You're just like, out and done. Woo.
There's not really any story there. So blogging, and you know what? I love that because it's kind of like, well, that was kind of like your first foray into marketing, but it's still around and it's still so useful.
Yeah.
And yeah, like it's kind of like when everyone said, "Oh, email marketing's gonna die." No way, mate.
Yeah.
It's not gonna die.
No.
So
And there's so many really useful things about it because I get so much search engine traffic every single month still from like things that I wrote 10 years ago that I did a little bit of search engine optimization for. And then also people just go and, they hear about me. And so they go and read through all of my blog posts from the beginning of time. And they feel really connected to me because it's like this story that keeps on going. It's it's a memoir that's been in the making for 20 fucking years.
Yes.
So for me, like the marketing bit has been like, how can I create and share my story and how can I help people? How can I be really generous and give shit away? And it builds up this huge know, like, and trust factor. And so like when I meet people in person, like it's a real emotional connection between us because they know all my stories and they're like, oh my God, you're just like who you are on the internet. And I'm like, who else am I going to fucking be? And it'd be so fucking weird if I wasn't. Could you imagine? Also, why would I spend all my time cosplaying this character?
That's like I'm just writing my own story while I'm living this one on the side.
That's right.
Then you would be a writer, not.
That's right. I don't have the executive functioning to pull that shit off. So yeah, I think just that whole philosophy of creating and sharing and then offering it up to the universe has been really just a huge part of my business. And even now, like I factor most of my success in terms of organic traffic. I haven't used a huge amount of Facebook ads. I took 2 years off social media entirely. I've had like 1 year stints off social media before that as well. I've always been really focused on the fact of like create beautiful things and share them with the people who love it, like with my newsletter. And there's a huge amount of word of mouth that gets involved. I just want people to go, have you heard of that fucking crazy rainbow lady, Leonie Dawson? Like, you should check her out. That's how I want to be found.
Yes. I love it. I love it. So talking about the 2 years off, why did you decide to quit social media and how did you grow your business during that time?
Yeah. So it was like I had this new idea at the start of 2021 that I wanted to do like 21-day challenges for myself because I'm really fucking bad at creating new habits and maintaining them. But I thought, hey, if I do challenge, right? Thank you. So hard. It's so hard. And I thought, you know what? I'm not good at marathons, but I'm a good sprinter. So if I try out a bunch of things and just do it for 21 days and the shit that really works will probably stick by then. Yeah. And the shit that doesn't, who cares? I did a 21-day challenge and I can feel really proud of myself for that. Yeah. So I wrote down a list of all the things I wanted to try out. And the first thing that I really wanted to do was go off social media for 21 days. And it was weird because I'd taken a year off previously, like with my business and all kinds of stuff. And that was like, a few years before then. But I'd kind of gotten to a point of being so addicted that I couldn't see a way that I could stop using social media. And that's when I knew, like, oh, I need to take a break.
Yeah.
So I was really anxious before taking the 21 days. And then as soon as I did it, I was like, oh, this is fucking tops. I love this. This is so great. And I could just feel my creativity and like this inner peace was really returning to me in a way, in a beautiful way. My brain was healing. And so I thought, there's no fucking way I just want to do this for 21 days. So I thought I'll give it 3 months and see how the business is going. And if it's starting to fuck up without social media, then I'll go back and tell everyone like, hey, I tried, but it didn't work. But it just didn't happen. It didn't happen. So for 2 years, I marketed and operated my business completely without social media. I brought in over $2 million. It was all tippity tops. And the only reason I decided to come back was because I really wanted to make videos. And I felt really hemmed in by this decision of like, oh, well, I can't use social media because I've sworn off that for life now. But like one of my big tenets for myself is like, I always love freedom. Like I want to give myself as much freedom as I want to experience and create in whatever way I want. And so it then started feeling like this rule that wasn't working for me anymore. So I thought, fuck it. I'll just go and play with making stupid videos and start using social media in certain ways, test it out and be really strategic, really limit my time. Like I don't have any apps on my phone. I don't spend, I think I do like 1 day a week. I have a task to like just batch create a bunch of social media shit. Otherwise it's all deleted and I'm blocked from being able to use it on my computer as well. So like I'm not there to read anybody else's shit. I'm just there just to create and just publish, schedule, and then fuck off again.
I love that. I was going to ask you, did you also stop consuming it? But obviously.
Yeah,
did.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Oh, man, I feel like I need to do that.
Just do it for 21 days. Just see how it feels,
Yeah. I've already stopped posting because I kind of just went, I don't know, maybe it was like burnout or something last year. I was like, I don't want to, but I kept scrolling and it's like a little bit like doom scrolling.
It is. And I mean, it's what it's been engineered to do. It's engineered to make you scroll. That's like their whole aim.
I reckon it's like, it's like this addiction. Even my daughter is like, can I watch some videos? I'm like, nope, turning it off. Nope. Yeah. Not happening.
Exactly. Get yourself up. Just like even 7 days. Like 7 days is fucking great. 21 days, whatever you need to do. Just try it out.
I'm going to do. But I feel like that anxiety like you did. Like, like removing the apps from my phone. I'm like, ooh, can I? But I should. I'm going to, I'll see how I go.
There was some, like I read 2 books at the start of that journey, which was so helpful. One was called Break Up with the Internet by Catherine Price. That was fantastic. And then Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport. And I kind of read them both in tandem and both of them were so beautiful and so helpful. So I really recommend them.
Gonna do that because I'm like, I just can't be effed at the moment. Just don't. But everyone feels like they need to be on it. So if you were to start from scratch right now, what would you focus on first? Like especially for people that don't have an audience or an email list and they actually don't want to spend time on social media.
Yeah. So I would look around at all the other people that like your audience is already like in their audience and work out clever ways to joint venture with them. So create something like a fucking summit, create some kind of collaborative project, or even start being an affiliate for their offerings and start adding value, start giving stuff, start sharing your story in whatever format you want it to be in. Like if you're a really like graphics kind of orientated person, Pinterest might be the one for you. I kind of see Pinterest not social media, it's more of a search engine kind of thing.
Search engine. Yeah.
YouTube's the same way. YouTube is a search engine for videos. So those can be useful places. Or if you're a writer, then you use something like Medium or your own website and you start producing content. Like, of course, there's Substack as the new sexy beast in town. There'll be another sexy beast, but whatever.
All the
What
time.
matters is that you create and you share and you genuinely help people and you start getting in front of the audiences of other people.
Yeah, I love that. I really do love that. As long as you don't then venture off and look at people that do the same thing as you, because then you'll like get comparisonitis and
Yeah. Don't do that kind of stuff. Just look at like similar energy of like, oh, that person would probably be more also interested in that kind of person.
Yeah. No, I love that. I really do love that. Yeah. Summits, bundles, all of those kind of things. And I do love it because I think you do need to create content, but I don't think you need to create social media content because it's micro content. It's like you can only share so much. And blogs, YouTube, podcasts, I think it's all sort of like bigger content.
It is. It's developing a long-term relationship. Like I am a creator, but I want you to know I'm a shit micro creator. Like I am not good at
can't keep it short.
concise shit or just being like, oh, you got 1,200 characters to tell a deep, heartfelt story from the depths of your soul. Like, fuck no, I need 10,000 words for that shit.
And then you get continued in the comments and in the comments of the comments. And it's just
make
it a blog post.
Yeah. Yeah,
Love
exactly. It. So blog posts are kind of my thing, especially since I love to intersperse them with pictures, drawings and whatever else. So
yeah. How do you do that? Do you write first and then you draw, or do you draw first and then you write?
Usually write first and then start putting stuff in. But if I get bored while I'm writing, then I'll just start doing some drawing just to, change mediums.
I love it. It's great. What is something that you wish you'd done earlier in terms of marketing your business?
Ooh.
Because it kind of just evolves. But
I really think just dedicating myself to learning everything I can about marketing a business and trying it out in my own business and seeing what was a really good fit for me and my audience and what wasn't.
Yeah.
I think like there's nothing better than that. Like there's no one silver bullet of marketing that's going to give results, but it's like this attitude and energy of forward momentum always.
Yeah. No, I love that because, I don't know. There's always a lot of people that when I talk to them, it's like, oh, marketing. And it's either I'm not good at marketing or marketing feels yucky. I'm like, doesn't really need to. And I love how you do it in just like in such a genuine kind of way. I love how you write stories. Like your newsletter is probably one of the only ones that I open because I want to read what you're writing. And I'm like, my life is so boring. How can I write something like that? I think it's because I have little kids and I have no brain space.
Like your brain does not function at those points. It grows back, I promise you, but just have a lot of fish oil and downtime in the meantime.
I think I need that downtime.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're going to wrap up, Is this something I want to ask all of my podcast guests? What are you curious about right now? It's like an open-ended question, but...
Ooh. Okay, so what I'm most curious about is the fact that, so I've gone through lots of cycles in my business, right? So I've had like huge growth periods where my business doubled in revenue every single year. Then I went through the process of hiring a really large team to deal with that growth. And so I had 25, 30 staff at one point, discovered I fucking hated it. And so kind of right-sized my business over time back to my sweet spot, which is kind of 1 or 2 part-time assistants that thrive on me neglecting them. Like I don't manage them. I just ignore them. They just have to do their own thing, And my assistant is like, she's like, it's a beautiful match made in heaven because she's very resistant to being, overmanaged and micromanaged. And I am the opposite of a micromanager. I'm somebody who disappears into the bushes for long periods of time. So match made in heaven, but it's not for a match for everyone. Totally. So that's totally cool. So for me, I've gone through this process of right-sizing back to where I want it to go. My business has been a long-term joy for me and it's made a beautiful amount of money. But now what I'm curious about is like, how far can I grow my revenue with the team that I currently have? By the team, I mean one part-time assistant who does maybe 15 to 20 hours a week, right?
Yeah.
And me who works maybe 10, 15 hours a week max. And so I'm kind of curious to see how far I can take that. I'd just like to do something stupendous. I'd just like to just be like, because, at the moment I'm sitting on around $1 million a year. And I have heard from people before that like $1 million a year with one assistant is doable, but it's harder to get traction after that. I would like to just completely, if I can blow that out of the water.
Yeah. I would like to see you do it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. Thank you for the
know.
buy-in. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, it's like, if it's possible, then
Right?
yeah, I think yeah. And I'm a little bit like you. I'd like to disappear too, but I haven't found my match made in heaven yet.
Yes.
I do think I need to give a little bit of direction.
Yeah.
At least tell them what I like, what they need to do rather than
Yeah. Like it did take me a while to, kind of educate her up to like what I like and that kind of stuff. But it's pretty seamless now. My biggest hack, my biggest management hack is always hire somebody who's a similar neurotype to you. So as somebody with autism and ADHD, I only like to work with people who have autism and ADHD.
Yes. No. That makes total sense. Look, I haven't been diagnosed. I have some inkling that there's hyper and there's like 2 types of ADHD.
Oh yeah. Well, it's actually there's like even 6 types now. There's like one ring of fire. It's a whole fucking thing now.
Okay, because I'm not the typical. I feel like I'm not.
Yeah.
But I do feel like there is something that I need to explore because
Well, if you like me, you're neurodiverse. I really freak out at neurotypicals. Their response to me is, "What do you want?" And you're crazy.
Right. No, that's not my response.
Yeah, no, so therefore you're probably
my response is, what are you on? It's delightful. And
right?
I have some.
Exactly. That is the exact response to have. That's the exact correct response.
But I feel like I'm like, I don't know. I just have these other kind of things. It's like I'm super impulsive. Don't think things through, dive like straight in the deep end and go, oh, fuck, what have I got myself into?
Yeah.
Think about it later. And then, I've made a few of those things. And my husband's kind of had to mop up the...
Yeah.
But, that's me.
Yeah, I always like to joke that the only reason I'm still alive is because I have a husband going, Leonie, no.
My husband doesn't say no. He lets me try it. He lets me make my own mistakes.
But then fixes.
And he doesn't kind of go, told you so. He's kind of like, no, you needed to learn that lesson yourself kind of thing.
Yep.
So
that's really sweet.
Which is kind of good. And my dad used to be that person in the past. He didn't really let me learn my lessons. He would kind of go, well, have you thought about this? And have you thought about this? And like he would kind of like, Rose, I would be like, I'm going to do this. And he's like, well, have you thought about stuff? And I'm like, no, just going to do it. I don't know. So who cares? Crazy.
Exactly. Like my husband is benevolent, Zeus. He says no if it's if I'm about to do something very dangerous.
Yeah.
Like he's like, Leonie, forks don't go in the toaster. We've talked about this. Get that knife out.
Yeah.
But then when it's more like, oh, I'm going to do this. And he's like, I don't think that's a good idea. And I'd be like, I'm doing it anyway. And he's like, okay, see you on the other end, babes.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't put a fork in the toaster, but I have walked away from the stove a few times.
Yeah.
But then when it comes to my kids, it's like, keep him away from the oven. Like,
hypervigilant. Yeah.
Like, whereas when it's me,
who cares, right?
My husband's like, why is this here? I'm like, I was doing that, but then I forgot about it because I got distracted. Yeah. It's probably part mum brain, part, I don't know.
Yeah. ADHD, it's a fun little thing. A fun little thing for us all.
They are definitely right. Yeah, it is fun. It is fun. I don't think life is normal. But then I have a friend who's quite debilitated by it. She needs medication, and so oh well.
It's variance, and like, you know, there gets to be that level of variance in amongst that. You know, I've done 40 years without medication. Medication for me for ADHD isn't life changing. It is for a lot of people, which is awesome. For me, CBD oil works a lot better because it calms my autistic overstimulation stuff, but it's just a really different puzzle for every single person.
Yeah, I find it really interesting. I never really thought about it, and that I potentially could have ADHD. Like, I'm not diagnosed. But then when my friend was saying this and this and this, and I'm like, I've got this. And she's like, I think it's called inattentive.
Yes. Yeah.
That's probably kind of more me. So
yeah, I'm also inattentive.
There we go. But I'm not as creative as you. No, I shouldn't say that. I think my creative, I am creative. I just haven't been able to because of the young kids. So I feel a little bit lost at the moment. So.
Yeah, it's when you have a baby that's as young as yours. Yes. It's like our family therapist said when our first daughter was born, and we were like, what the fuck just happened? You know, like 9 months later, he was like, oh, like, what happens is every new baby, they blow up your life. They explode your life. And you had this beautiful pie before, a beautiful pie of like your own time, your relationship time, friend and family time, self-care time, all those things. And then the baby comes along and fucking blows up that pie.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah. And then you, like, each day as baby gets older, you get a little bit more slice of the pie back, but it's like in infinitesimal amounts, and it's an excruciating amount of time before you get a fucking pie back.
We blew it up. Then at 4-year-old had some pie back, and now we got
that's
11-month-old. My pies, I don't know.
Yeah.
On the wall in every nook of cranny of the house.
Right. And they don't
And then we moved house. Well, we moved house before the baby was born. But moved house. Oh my God. Anyway, my pie will get back. My pie will get back. Good to know.
It made me feel better. I just thought every single day I'm getting a little tiny pieces of pie back. And of course, there will be days where it's not linear and your baby just has a split regression or whatever. And you're like, fuck that. But you will get through it.
He's an absolute delight to hang out. He's so much fun.
Oh, bless.
He's so much more hard work than my daughter was.
Yeah.
But he's such good fun. I love it. Like, just to see his delight. He loves animals. Oh. So like, we've got some horses in the paddock that someone's adjusting here. Oh, he just loves to go to the horses, and I just have to tell you, I don't know why, but
I love.
I can literally see it from my window right now. But one of the horses' names is Bert. It's like
that's
a big,
amazing,
daffily grey Bert. So every time we open the curtains, he's like, Bert, 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 and he waves at him, and it's so cute.
Oh, his best friend's Bert.
I know, his best friend's Bert. I thought it's so cute, Bert.
I want to be best friends with Bert now too. I wish I had a big dapple grey named Bert out my back fence.
He's a gentle giant. He's also the boss of the paddock with the 2 mares in it. But Bert. I love it. It's so cute.
Bert. I got to think about that now. Just Bert.
He's so
Look
cute.
out the window.
Yeah, he's so cute. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap up soon because school pickup time soon.
Oh yeah.
I'm an hour ahead of you. If you had an extra $5,000 in your marketing budget, what would you spend it on?
I'd spend it on a $5,000 holiday.
Yes, that's a good marketing exercise.
It'll be
Where
something
would you
to write. It'll be just anywhere. It doesn't matter. Just like somewhere gorgeous. Even just like a beautiful house near where I live or something. Just, have creative retreat time. It'd be so fun.
I would love that.
Right?
By myself. Can I just not?
Yeah. Okay, so here's my secret tip, how I got through the kid years. As soon as I wasn't breastfeeding anymore, for my birthday or for Mother's Day or whatever, whenever my husband asked me what I wanted, it was a night alone in a hotel by myself.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Heck, I would even go in a camper trailer. Yes, a night away, a holiday, $5,000 on a holiday. I love it. I really, 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 really love it.
Right. Just by myself.
I'm still breastfeeding, so not going to happen. But
yeah, right. Like as soon as the boobs can be disengaged, I'm just like, I'm out.
Yeah, no, I kept it going for a long time with my daughter. So 29 months. So we'll see.
Yeah, I did the same with my first. Yeah.
I don't know if I'll get that far with the second. We'll see.
Yeah.
I want to, but anyway, doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is a really good marketing spend, by the way, because like you said, you get that creative brain space, you get ideas. A lot of people don't think about this. You don't have to sit at your computer to come up with ideas. You actually need to go away to come up with ideas. So I love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's actually the end of this week's show.
Fucking nailed it.
Yeah. As a listener, if you have any questions about growing your business in a fun, a 100% you way, which really is what you do, Leonie, that's how I always see you, head to leoniedawson.com. There's so many fun things and a lot to read as well. Massive thanks to you, Leonie. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It was so much fun.
It was the greatest. It was like meeting up with a friend for tea.
Well, that's what I want podcasts to be, really. Good chat.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for listening. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe and leave a 5-star rating and review on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever you heard the podcast. Your review will help others find the show and learn more about the amazing world of online marketing. And don't forget to check out the show notes for this episode at newschoolofmarketing.com, where you can learn more about Leonie, check out useful links, download free resources, and leave a comment about the show. Yay!